Have you ever asked yourself, am I truly living as myself, or am I just wearing a mask to be accepted? It seems like a simple question, but if you pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and listen inwardly, you'll realize it touches something very deep within the soul. In modern life, so often we find ourselves suppressing true feelings, pretending to be cheerful when we feel empty inside, acting strong while trembling within, or pleasing others just to avoid being left behind. These masks may begin as shields to help us survive in society, but over time they turn into chains, pulling us further away from our authentic selves. Life, if you look closely, is like a vast stage where everyone plays many roles. A devoted child, a dedicated employee, a humorous friend, a parent, a teacher. But have you ever felt exhausted by those very roles? Have you ever longed to simply be yourself? Without effort, without masks, without pretending. That exhaustion is a sign that we may be losing something precious, the ability to live in truth. In Buddhist philosophy, living authentically isn't just about speaking your mind or showing emotions. It means living with awareness, free from illusions, fears, and disguises. As long as we hide behind masks, we cannot touch the true essence of life, pure, light, and free. A forced smile can hide sadness, but it also makes us forget how to cry sincerely. Pretending to be strong may win respect, but it also robs us of the tenderness of being human. Acting cheerful to be accepted may temporarily help us fit in, but it keeps us from experiencing the beauty of being accepted just as we are. The more masks we wear, the further we drift from the root, from the soul that never needed to pretend in the first place. The Buddha taught that the root of suffering is ignorance, failing to see reality clearly. And when we wear masks, we create another layer of ignorance, a veil that hides our true nature. But here's the good news. Wisdom is already within us, waiting to be uncovered. Through mindfulness and awareness, we can return to our true selves. When you sit quietly, close your eyes, let go of every role, and simply follow your breath, you may discover a silent space inside. A place where you don't need to be anyone else but yourself. That is the doorway to true freedom. Freedom from masks. On this journey, Buddhist wisdom becomes a guiding light, reminding us that authenticity is not about exposing everything, nor about resisting the world. It is about living fully with what is, without adding or hiding anything. Only when we dare to remove the masks can we live with ease, peace, and a genuine connection to ourselves and the world around us. That is the vision behind Buddha's wisdom journey. This channel was born from the longing to return to authenticity and freedom. What we share here is not distant philosophy, but gentle reminders you can bring into your daily life, in every breath, every step, every relationship, because Buddhist wisdom is not locked in ancient books far away. It is alive in every moment you stop, breathe, and look deeply within. Today, with the theme Living Without Masks, a Buddhist perspective, we will reflect together on the invisible masks we wear every day. We won't try to tear them off with resistance. Instead, we will gently observe them, understand why they appeared, and learn to release them with mindfulness. Only by truly seeing can letting go happen naturally, like clouds dissolving to reveal the clear blue sky that was always there. So before we go deeper, take a pause. Ask yourself, what mask am I wearing today? Perhaps it's the mask of strength, the mask of joy, the mask of wisdom. Then ask again, if I no longer wore this mask, would I dare to live as my true self? The answer may not come easily, but the moment you begin this inner inquiry, you have already taken the first step toward freedom. And that is the journey Buddha's wisdom journey wishes to walk with you, back to the simple yet profound truth, living without disguise, without masks, simply as yourself in the light of mindfulness and compassion. In life, it seems that all of us, at least once, have worn a mask. It could be the mask of joy, so that others won't see the silent sorrow gnawing at us inside. It could be the mask of strength, so no one notices how we tremble, fragile in the storms of life. Or perhaps the mask of knowledge, so that others won't realize we are lost, still searching for our own way. These masks are not inherently bad. Sometimes they help us keep going, help us adapt, help us survive. But if we look deeply, we will see that a mask is also like an invisible wall, separating us from the truth that is the very foundation of peace. We wear masks because we fear rejection, because we long to be loved, because we don't want others to see our weakness. Yet the more we hide, the more we lose touch with ourselves. We may bring smiles to others, but we no longer know which smile on our own face is real. We may appear strong, yet when the night falls, we ourselves cannot tell if our strength is genuine, or if we are simply fooling ourselves. Behind those layers of disguise, the soul grows weary, longing to breathe, longing to live naturally, without hiding, without performing. Through the light of Buddhist wisdom, the Buddha taught that happiness cannot arise from pretense or from roles we play, but only from living in mindfulness and authenticity. As long as we believe we must become someone else in order to be accepted, we are still far from the source of true happiness. Masks, after all, are nothing more than expressions of impermanence. They are not our true nature. Today we may wear one mask to be liked, tomorrow another to be respected. Yet all such disguises are unstable, unreliable. What remains, untouched and unshaken, is the mindful heart, not stained by the world's judgments, not swayed by praise or blame. So how can we return to authenticity? How can we gently remove, day by day, the masks we have grown so accustomed to wearing? The answer, simple yet requiring both courage and persistence, is mindfulness. Start by looking honestly at yourself. Each day, ask, when am I wearing a mask? It might be when you smile politely, though your heart feels heavy. It might be when you say yes, just to avoid disappointing someone, though inside you want to say no. It might be when you stay silent, swallowing your truth, afraid of being judged or ridiculed. Simply recognizing it, naming it, is already a powerful step toward living authentically. Next, practice mindfulness. Just one deep breath, one moment of stopping is enough to recognize your true feelings. When sadness arises, breathe and acknowledge, this is my sadness. When fear arises, breathe and embrace it. This is my fear. No need to hide, no need to judge, just be present, just recognize. In that very moment, the mask begins to loosen and fall away. And from mindfulness, the courage to live authentically will blossom. You will find yourself speaking your truth, gently, acting from your heart, mindfully. Truth does not mean exposing everything, but rather not letting yourself be imprisoned by falsehood. Maybe today you reveal a little, tomorrow a little more. Step by step, you walk closer to yourself, closer to true freedom. Because the truth is this: no one can truly love us if we only show them a mask. People may admire the strength we display, but they will never touch the tender heart beneath. They may be drawn to our cheerful facade, but they will never truly hold the tears we hide inside. Only when we dare to live authentically do we open the door to real love, real acceptance, real connection. You may ask, but won't living authentically make me vulnerable to pain? The answer is yes, it might. But that is honest pain, the kind of wound that helps you grow, not the silent erosion of the soul that comes from wearing masks for too long. And the miracle is this: the more authentically you live, the less you will feel wounded. Because when you no longer pretend, you no longer cling to expectations. You no longer depend on others' approval to feel worthy. Your worth comes instead from your own mindful presence. One deep breath, one honest gaze, one heartfelt action. These seemingly small things are the very foundation of lasting happiness. We don't need to run outward in search of validation. We only need to pause, recognize the masks we wear, and practice the courage to gently set them aside. That is the path the Buddha pointed to, the path of truth, of mindfulness, of compassion. And in time you will realize, freedom does not lie in having many masks to change at will, but in not needing any mask at all. Freedom is not living to please everyone, but daring to live true to yourself, with mindfulness, with authenticity, with peace. There is a truth that few of us dare to face. We don't just wear masks with others. We also wear masks with ourselves. We tell ourselves we're fine, that everything is under control, that the pain will eventually pass. Yet deep down, we know there are wounds that have never been touched. Wearing a mask before others is exhausting, but wearing a mask before ourselves is even more draining, because it means refusing to listen to the true call of our own soul. In silence, try looking back. How many times have you forced yourself to smile to appear strong, while inside was a raging storm? How many times have you said, "It's okay," when your heart was breaking into pieces? How many times have you tried to prove your independence, when deep down all you longed for was someone to hold your hand? Each time, another mask was added, and the distance between you and your true self grew wider. The Buddha once said, "There is no enemy more dangerous than our own ignorance." Ignorance is not just not knowing, it is also hiding, the veil we place over ourselves so we don't have to face the truth. Masks are a form of ignorance. They make us believe that if we appear different, we will be safe. But that false safety only prolongs our suffering. It's like someone with a wound who only covers it instead of tending to it. Eventually, the wound spreads, eating deeper, weakening the whole body. The solution is not to fight the mask, nor to rip it off hastily. Masks once had their reasons to exist. They were born of fear, of the longing to be accepted. If we only try to erase them, we create yet another inner battle. The wiser path is to recognize them, to look at them directly with full awareness. When we breathe mindfully and observe, this is a forced smile. Ah, this is pretending to be strong. Then the mask begins to melt away, not by force, but by the light of true seeing. It's like bringing a lamp into the dark. The darkness doesn't need to be chased away. It simply vanishes. In the same way, when we shine mindfulness on the mask, it naturally falls, revealing the person behind it. And that person, tender yet sincere, vulnerable yet full of love, is the one we can finally trust. Living authentically doesn't mean exposing everything to the world. It doesn't mean saying every thought out loud. Authentic living, in the spirit of Buddhism, is the courage to acknowledge ourselves, first to ourselves, then to others. It is harmony between the heart, the words, and the actions. When we are sad inside, we don't have to force a smile. When we feel fragile, we don't need to rush into armor to prove otherwise. Paradoxically, when we dare to be weak, we become stronger. When we dare to shed tears, we learn how to smile genuinely. When we dare to acknowledge our fear, our hearts open wider to compassion. For truth always carries within it a healing power that falsehood can never hold. Imagine this. If your whole life is lived behind masks, you may end your journey without anyone ever knowing the real you. And the most painful part is, perhaps you never truly knew yourself either. On the other hand, if you dare to live authentically, you may be misunderstood, you may be rejected, but at least you will leave this life in freedom, for you have lived a life that was truly yours. Buddhist teaching always reminds us, everything false is impermanent. Masks too cannot last forever. At some point you will have to take them off. The question is, will you remove them in pain, or will you choose to remove them with mindfulness? If you choose mindfulness, each step of letting go becomes a path of healing. If you choose avoidance, the mask will still fall in the end. But all that remains will be emptiness and confusion. That is why the practice of mindfulness is so vital. Every breath, every step, every glance, if grounded in awareness, can become an opportunity to return home. And when we live in mindfulness, masks are no longer needed. Every action, every word, every smile becomes authentic and light. No longer burdened by performance, no longer exhausted by control, we begin to taste the freedom already present within us. Remember this, no mask is more beautiful than your true face in mindfulness. No disguise is stronger than a sincere heart, and no acceptance is greater than the moment you accept yourself. So starting today, you can take one very small step. When you smile, ask, is this smile real? When you nod in agreement, ask, do I truly want this? When you remain silent, ask, am I silent out of wisdom or out of fear? These simple questions are the very keys to the door of returning. And trust that every moment you live authentically, no matter how small, you add one drop of water to the river of freedom. One day that river will be full enough to wash away every mask, leaving you bathed in the purity of your true being. That is the serenity we have long been searching for, not in others, not in the eyes of praise or blame, but in the genuine heart within ourselves. There is something very strange. When we begin to live truthfully, the whole world seems to change. Not because the world itself is different, but because the eyes through which we see have changed. A handshake feels warmer because it comes from sincerity. A gaze becomes deeper because it no longer carries calculation or concealment. A conversation feels lighter because we no longer have to measure every word in fear of letting the mask slip. Yet living truthfully is not always a smooth path. There will be moments when you feel lonely, because not everyone is ready to embrace your true self. You may lose certain relationships that were only sustained by the mask you wore. But remember, what falls away is only the false. What remains, who remains, are the connections rooted in trust and genuine love. In truth, you lose nothing. You are simply purifying your life, making it lighter, more authentic. The Buddha once taught about the middle way, not clinging to falsehood, not clinging to denial. Living truthfully does not mean you must always express every thought, but that you live with wisdom, knowing when to speak, when to remain silent, when to advance, and when to step back. The essence is not to reveal everything, but never to betray your own heart. When the heart is at peace, words naturally shine with clarity. When the heart is true, actions naturally carry harmony. Have you ever sat quietly and realized that the entire day you were not truly yourself? Have you ever heard a sigh deep inside your heart, reminding you that you spent too much time pleasing others and forgot yourself? If you have, do not rush to blame yourself. Realization is the first and most vital step. In that very moment of awareness, you have already planted a seed, the seed of authenticity. Reflect for a moment. If this life were just a stage, would you want to leave it as an actor or as your true self? The applause will fade, the praise and criticism will vanish, but the peace of knowing you have lived authentically will remain, like a flame that never dies. That flame is what lights the way back home to yourself. In meditation, there is a precious moment when you sit still, breathe slowly, let go of each layer of disguise, and suddenly discover within you a sky that is still clear and vast. That inner sky has never been tainted by roles, never bound by pretenses, never chained by fear. That sky is your true nature, the pure essence that the Buddha pointed to. When you touch it, you understand that freedom has never left you. It was only hidden beneath the masks you wore. And when you rise from meditation, you can carry that spirit into daily life. At work, practice mindfulness so you are not swept away by the urge to please, but honor the truth within you. In conversation, breathe gently so you don't speak hollow words, but allow your heart to speak for you. In times of hardship, smile, not the forced smile that hides fear, but the smile of one who knows that beneath everything, there is always a refuge in awareness. We often fear that living truthfully will make us lose the love of others. But in fact, truthfulness is the very source of deep love. Only when you dare to show your vulnerability can others come close enough to touch your heart. Only when you admit your pain can others share and support you. And only when you live authentically can you inspire others to do the same. One person living truthfully can become a mirror, helping many others remove their masks. Imagine a society where everyone wears masks, speaks in empty words, and offers only forced smiles. Could such a world ever be peaceful? But just a few people daring to live truthfully can spread sincerity like small flames, gradually lighting up the darkness of falsehood. And perhaps you too, with your authenticity, could become one of those flames. You might wonder, do I have the strength to begin? The answer is yes. You don't need to tear off all your masks in a single day. You can begin with just one breath, one smile, one genuine word. Each small step, if nourished by mindfulness, will gradually lead you toward a life of freedom. And one day, you will realize you no longer need any mask at all. When that day comes, you will find life astonishingly light. You no longer chase others' approval because you have already embraced yourself. You no longer need to strain to prove your worth because your worth shines in your mindful presence. You no longer fear rejection because you know that true love begins with your willingness to love yourself. And one day, you will sit down, take a deep breath, smile at yourself, and whisper, "I have come home." That is the moment you lay down every mask, the moment you touch true freedom. There is a very subtle trap. When we free ourselves from dependence on the opinions of others, we may fall into a new dependence, the dependence on our own opinions. We might think, "I don't need anyone else. I only need to listen to myself." But look closely. Even the thoughts and opinions we call mine are not truly ours. They are shaped by experience, memory, culture, environment, by what we have read, heard, and seen. If we cling tightly to, "I think this, I believe that," then we are still imprisoned. Only the bricks of the prison have changed. Buddhist wisdom shows us that freedom does not mean shifting from living for others to living for myself, but living in mindfulness, beyond all attachments. Only then do we experience real ease. Like a traveler crossing a desert, at first desperately longing for a well, but upon reaching the riverbank, thirst dissolves because water is everywhere. One who lives in mindfulness is the same. There is no need to prove, no need to resist, because each breath already carries fullness. Look at a leaf. When the wind blows, it sways. When the rain falls, it becomes wet. When the sun rises, it dries. Yet the leaf does not complain, nor does it boast. It simply lives each moment completely, present with whatever conditions arise. We too can learn from the leaf. We don't need to please anyone, nor affirm ourselves. We simply need to live, breathe, smile, and let life flow naturally. When no longer bound by others' opinions, something miraculous happens. Our energy becomes lighter. We no longer waste strength in useless arguments, nor obsess over, "What will they think of me?" Instead, we have more space to live authentically, to create, to love, to listen deeply, and to see clearly. In this freedom, we discover a life force within us that has never run dry. It was only covered by layers of fear and expectation. Some may ask, if I don't care about others' opinions, will I become selfish and indifferent? This is a common misunderstanding. Indifference comes from a hardened ego, from only seeking one's own benefit. But freedom from others' opinions is accompanied by an open heart. When we are no longer bound by praise or blame, we can truly listen to others, because we no longer listen through defense or pride. When we no longer crave recognition, we can offer love unconditionally. Thus, freedom does not kill love, it purifies it, making it untainted and uncalculated. In one meditation session, someone shared, "I felt as though I was standing between two waves, one of praise, one of criticism. If I ran toward either, I would be swept away. But when I stood still, not choosing, just breathing, both waves became gentle." This is the living image of freedom. The moment we stop chasing, what once pulled us apart loses its power. You can begin practicing this in daily life. When someone praises you, smile, but remind yourself, this is only an echo, not me. When someone criticizes you, smile and also remind yourself, this too is only an echo, not me. Gradually, you will see your heart less shaken, less led astray. In that steadiness, you will understand what true freedom means. Many spend their entire lives collecting reputation, status, and wealth, as if they were shields against judgment. But in the end, emptiness remains, because no shield can protect the heart. The heart is only truly protected when it is no longer dependent on any words. Only then does one touch the peace the Buddha called nirvana in the here and now, where praise and blame, gain and loss, success and failure no longer bind us. In life, we cannot block out all voices, but we can choose not to let them carve into our hearts. We can let them pass like clouds drifting across the sky, some white, some gray, some thick, some thin. Yet the sky remains vast, blue, and boundless. Our mind too can be as spacious as the sky, unbound by passing clouds. And when you truly taste this freedom, you will find something wondrous. Life does not lose its colors, it becomes more vivid, because you no longer see through the fog of fear and expectation. You see directly, with clear eyes and an open heart. A bird's song may move you to tears. A simple morning may appear as a priceless gift. A stranger you meet on the street may become your teacher, offering lessons on impermanence, letting go, and love. We could say that freedom from others' opinions is a doorway into awakening, and once that door is opened, you will not want to return. For once you have known what it feels like to be at ease, you will not willingly confine yourself again in the prison of praise and blame. So let me ask you, today, are you ready to set down the mask you have been carrying? Are you ready to take a deep breath, exhale gently, and whisper to yourself, I allow myself to live truthfully? With just that one moment of courage, you have already planted the seed of freedom, and one day, that seed will grow into a forest of peace within your heart. In the end, living without masks is the very first step toward finding freedom, peace, and wholeness in every breath. Life is short and fragile, yet we often waste so much of it performing roles that are not truly ours. We try so hard to please others, only to lose ourselves in the process. But if you look closely, you'll realize the world does not need another version of you that is fake. It needs you, your true self. Simple, honest, unique, and radiant. Remember, others may see your appearance, hear your words, or judge your actions, but only you truly know what's inside. Your fears, your longings, your tenderness, your wounds, and only you have the courage to face them. So don't wait for someone else to give you acceptance. Don't wait for the world's approval to live authentically. Happiness does not come from the applause of the crowd. It comes from reconciliation with your own heart. There are moments when you pause and take a deep breath that you suddenly see all that you've been carrying. Praise, criticism, recognition, expectations is nothing but illusion. They are like clouds, constantly changing, never staying long. But your true inner self is like the vast, silent sky, always present. When you stop clinging to the clouds, you will see that the sky was never gone. That is true freedom. You may ask yourself, am I brave enough to live authentically? That question, no one else can answer for you. But you can start small. Today, right now, try letting go of just one mask. Maybe the mask of false strength, so you can allow yourself to be vulnerable. Maybe the mask of forced cheerfulness, so you can cry honestly, just once. Maybe the mask of constant pleasing, so you can say a gentle no. With just one mask removed, you will feel lighter, and your heart will breathe a little freer. Every day you can gently ask yourself, what mask am I wearing today? And then, with mindfulness, simply notice it. No rush to tear it off, no need to resist. Just see it clearly, smile at it. That very act of mindful recognition is already the beginning of dissolving the mask. Over time, through breathing, listening, and being honest with yourself, you will find the masks no longer needed. And naturally, you return to your authentic self. Living authentically does not mean exposing everything or opposing the world. It simply means daring to rest in who you are. Nothing added, nothing hidden, nothing polished, nothing denied. It feels as light as taking off a tight, uncomfortable outfit and slipping into soft, comfortable clothes. The heart, too, finds its rest when it no longer has to hide behind a mask. And here's the beautiful part. When you live authentically, you are not only giving a gift to yourself, but also to those around you. Authenticity is contagious. When you dare to cry sincerely, you allow others to be vulnerable too. When you laugh genuinely, you give others permission to share real joy. When you speak with honesty, you help others find their own courage. Then the world is no longer just a stage full of actors. It becomes a true community where people meet heart to heart, not mask to mask. The Buddha once said, "There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path." Living authentically is just like that. Don't wait until every mask is gone to begin living in joy. In every small step of letting go, you already taste freedom. Every authentic breath, every moment without pretending, every act born from the heart, these are happiness itself. So today, I invite you to try something simple. Take off just one mask you've been wearing too long. Then sit quietly, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel. Feel the relief of not pretending. Feel the peace of simply being yourself. From that place, let authenticity walk with you each day. Before we end, I want to leave you with 2 questions to reflect on, and perhaps share in the comments below. What mask is the hardest for you to let go of? Do you dare to live one day fully authentic to yourself? Write down your feelings. Sometimes just putting your truth into words is the first step in letting a mask fall away. And who knows, your sharing may inspire someone else who is also yearning for freedom. If this message has touched your heart, I warmly invite you to subscribe to Buddha's Wisdom Journey, where together we walk the path back to authenticity, peace, and wisdom. Let us create a space where no masks are needed, no pretending required, only our true selves, whole, free, and radiant.